Hey everybody, I'm Stacy Bly from the Student Success Center. I'm currently a GA doing MapWorks and helping students with that. Today we're going to go over study skills and what you need to know. Maybe you feel like you're a good studier right now, that you have the skills to be prepared for a test, but it's always great to know more than you already do and how to become more of an effective study skills student. So today we're going to kind of look at becoming more efficient and productive learners. How does metacognition play into studying? Bloom's taxonomy, the study cycle, the benefits of intense study sessions, and helpful study tips. And I will put in a game to kind of break it up. So what is metacognition? I know that's like a really big word, and we will define it. It is the ability to think about one's own thinking, so constantly being aware of what you're learning. Why am I reading this? Things like that. Be consciously aware of oneself as a problem solver. So maybe formulating a question about the reading before you start actually reading about it. Monitor and control one's mental processing. Am I understanding the material? You can read and read forever and think that you're actually learning it and processing it, but most of the time it doesn't stick. So asking that question, am I understanding this material, is very important. And finally, accurately judge one's level of learning. So here is the game that I promised. This is counting vowels in 45 seconds. How accurate are you? A list of words are going to be on the next slide, and I want everybody to count the vowels in those words. I will give you 1 minute. So for the people that are in the chat room, please count the vowels and put your answer in the chat box. All right, the clock's starting now. All right, and I have some answers. So how many, oh shoot. So from there, we have 51 and 50. The correct answer is 50. Now, how many words or phrases do you remember from the words that we just looked at? Can anybody in the chat room tell me how many they remember? And if you can't remember any, that's fine. So maybe 1 or 2, and another said 3. So let's look at the words again and kind of look at how they're arranged this time. What is the pattern? All right, one of our participants figured it out by number. So we have dollar bill, 1, dice, 2, tricycle, 3, 4-leaf clover, hand, 5 fingers, 6-pack, 7-up, octopus, cat live, bowling pins, football team, etc. So good job, everybody. Okay, we figured that out. So what were the 2 major differences between the first attempt and the second attempt? Pretty much the differences are it's all on how you structured your learning ability. So the first time it was just counting vowels. The second time it was defining that pattern, which made you remember how many words or phrases were shown. So always keeping a goal in mind is very important when you are studying. When you have that goal, you're more focused and you will do better at the subject matter that you are looking at. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is Bloom's taxonomy. And on the right-hand side, it kind of breaks it up for high school learning, undergraduate learning, and graduate school learning, which is really helpful. It kind of shows the transition of kind of the more intense studying that you'll have to do to prepare yourself for a college setting. So let's look at the bottom tiers, remembering and understanding. Remembering is pretty much just retrieving, recognizing, not really, well, knowledge for the long-term memory and the short-term, but definitely trying to keep it in the long-term memory. Then understanding, so constructing meaning from oral, written, and graphic messages. So then we get to the undergraduate level, which is actually applying the things that you have learned. So this could be in group work, this could be through a paper, this could be through homework. And then analyzing what we have constructed. So breaking material into constituent parts, determining how the parts relate to one another and to an overall structure. That was a mouthful. And then finally graduate school, which some of you might obtain too. So evaluating and then creating. Then we have the study cycle, a learning strategy that can be quickly and easily implemented to help students think at higher levels. So here is the study cycle broken down. And the first step is to preview before the class. So I know when I get my book for a class that I've never attended, I tend to look through the book and just see what the chapters are about. So that's pretty much just skimming and seeing what you're getting yourself into. Then the second one is attending class. Attending class is the most important thing you can do as a student. You're going to learn the information better. You're going to meet peers that you could ultimately form a study group with. And it's just going to help you overall be a better student. Then the third is review after class. If you have an hour in between classes, it is really crucial to look at what you just learned in the previous class. The last 5 minutes are going to resonate better than the first 5 minutes of the previous class you just had, so reviewing is really important. Then we have study. Repetition is key. Ask questions such as why, how, and what if. And then assess your learning. Am I using study methods that are effective? Do I understand the material well enough to teach it to others? I always found it really beneficial to find a partner and quiz each other on the information that we learned that day or that week in a certain class that we had. So that's super helpful, just putting it into kind of a questionnaire way. And then the last thing that we're going to talk about today is intense study sessions. So setting a goal. Decide what you want to accomplish in your study session. If you're going in with a blank mindset for, studying in general, it's really important to have a goal. If you don't have a goal, you're not going to accomplish as much as you could. That's going to help stay with focus, the second point. Interact with the material, organize, make a concept map, summarize, process, reread, fill in notes, reflect. I always found it really helpful for the review questions in the back of chapters that they typically have. And nowadays with most of the books having an online component to it, they also have quizzes, note cards are sometimes available there. So looking at those things can be really beneficial. And then 3, reward yourself. Having a really intense study session can be really draining, and after a while you don't even retain the information. So maybe for a chapter of reading you have 15 minutes of TV or Facebook after that. Really break it up so you don't tire yourself out. And then 4, just briefly review what you studied. Maybe look at the overall concepts, the big ideas of that, make some questions up. Just little things that you can do to increase your productivity. I hope all of these things helped you out today. If you have any questions, please stop by the Student Success Center. We'd be more than happy to help you out, and we do have handouts of the techniques that we talked about today. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully I will see you around UWM.